You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Really appreciate you joining me on this Training Thursday show, where I'm going to take you through the 5 floor stretches that must be done after every workout. Why do I put the emphasis on must? And the reason is there's a big part of our exercise culture right now that has forgotten the benefits of actually stretching and why that matters. So I'm trying to reinvigorate or reincarnate stretching back into our vernacular. And the reason is that if we're always on the go, if we're always breaking the body down, well, how are we supposed to rebuild? How are we supposed to rejuvenate? And the whole goal of our body is when we exercise to transform it, to make it stronger, to make it look better, if that's, that's a prerogative of yours. And I think for the most part, it is for most people, and to hopefully live a longer life. And so in order to do that, we need to always balance the hard and the soft. Like if you look at the yin and the yang symbol, and when you look at that symbol, you can see that it's always all about balance. And Ayurveda, traditional Chinese medicine as well, they have basically a 5-point star. And it's interesting, but in both of those, the oldest forms of medicine, it's all about balance. And you'll see that each connection on the star is actually balanced by a partner. So it's very, very beautiful, very, very intricate. And really, when it comes down to this, at the end of the day, and again, this is going to be my life's work, is really teaching people about balance. Now, you might say, okay, everything in moderation, but that's not true at all. It has nothing to do with moderation. That is actually not true. It has to do with balance. So when we sleep too much, we actually become groggy. Our metabolic rate slows. We become overweight. Things happen within our body that are too anabolic. When we don't sleep enough, what happens is we actually become more catabolic. Our body ages at a faster rate. Neither one is good, meaning like you're always trying to find balance. The balance is closer to the middle. Now, that doesn't mean binge eating, and it doesn't mean never eating at all, right? Like those aren't moderation. Those are extremes. Like going to one end or the other is an extreme. Now, can some of that help you in short-term stints? Meaning like, if you're trying to overcome a cold, sickness, whatever it might be, adrenal fatigue, and your body needs more sleep, get more sleep. There's no doubt about that. Totally agree. If you're dealing with serious digestive issues, maybe food poisoning, maybe you're going through a detox right now, you want to increase autophagy, what you want to do is, yes, you'll want to perform some type of fast. So you're absolutely correct. But that is not saying every day, a little moderation, a couple drinks here, a little bit of cookies here. No, that's not true at all. What we're trying to find is always how do we balance this body? So the interesting thing is this, that when we're talking about getting the most out of stretching, honestly, yes, I want you to become more flexible because flexibility helps with fall prevention as we age. It helps with injuries. It helps with the suppleness of the muscles themselves so they can perform better work. But honestly, when I'm talking about stretching, I'm talking about doing something that not a lot of people are talking about right now. Definitely not an exercise physiology because it's not an exercise physiology type thing. It's more of I don't even know the best way to talk about this, but it's more of a biochemical manifestation in the body. And what I mean by that is that every time you stretch, you get what's called a relaxation response in the body. The same thing actually happens with softer forms of massage, such as a Swedish-based massage or light abhyanga in Ayurvedic-based massage. Not the painful deep tissue massage. You don't actually get a relaxation response from that unless the practitioner is very, very skilled and they work a little bit deep, they work in deep, they ease into it, then they ease out of it. That's different. That's a very skilled practitioner. Not a lot of people have access to a practitioner like that because they're difficult to come by. That's a higher level of education. But what I can tell you is this, you can make your own relaxation response through meditation, through belly breathing. And I'm going to actually tell you how to incorporate that today with these 5 floor stretches that I absolutely believe everyone should be doing their workouts. Now, why am I saying after your workout? Why am I not saying, first thing when you wake up? Well, the reason I don't say do it first thing when you wake up is I don't believe in stretching first thing when you wake up. And the reason I don't believe it first thing when you wake up is that your body's stiff. It has not had a chance to even get some blood flow moving yet. So to me, it wouldn't make sense to hold a static stretch, which just means a stretch that you hold for 30 seconds to maybe a minute or 2 minutes right away. And that's because, honestly, you'll become more flexible just by taking a warm shower or hot shower. You'll get more blood flow and more flexibility just by getting more blood flow through your body. So you just literally take a walk, take a hot shower, or you could also do the asanas that I've spoken about before. The asanas are the sun salutations, the flows, and you can check that out on a previous Cabral concept. Just go to stephencabral.com/podcast and type in ASANAS, and you'll be able to see that really nice rhythmic flow. I think it's amazing. I really do. More people should really know about that. Now, that's fine to do in the morning to get the body acclimated to the day, wake up the body. You could also do a little meditation if you wanted. But now, why am I recommending stretches after your workout? Okay, here's why. Most of us, myself included, meaning like I know all of these things, but I still like to push my body, meaning like I like to get a good workout in. Now the difference is this. Instead of crushing my body for an hour, I push my body to a good limit, not overboard, for about 20 minutes to 30 minutes, okay? Now here's the difference too. I'm pushing my body into more of that go, 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 fight or flight. I'm lifting, I'm pushing my body, I enjoy it, I feel the rush, I love it, I really enjoy it, okay? I might not enjoy getting to the gym, but when I'm there and doing my workout, love it. I never once regretted doing a workout. Never once. Don't always want to get there, just like anybody else, right? I'm human. But when I do it, and when I'm doing it, and when I finish, amazing. Almost no better feeling. And people out there who exercise probably know what I'm talking about, unless you're overdoing it. Again, when you overdo it, it doesn't feel that good. So you need to go to your limit, no one else's limit. Not necessarily your personal trainer's limit, but your limit, what feels good for you. And again, you can always have a conversation with your strength coach or personal trainer as well. So that's pushing your body. Now, what does stretching do? Well, stretching relaxes the body. So if I'm looking to balance the push I gave my body, if I'm looking to balance the cortisol spike that I just gave my body, what would help with that? Well, it would help to balance that cortisol, that fight or flight, that sympathetic nervous system dominance with something that's parasympathetic, meaning calming, relaxing, rejuvenating. So if the fight or flight is catabolic cortisol stress, then the parasympathetic is rejuvenating, relaxing, and rebuilding. Okay, so that's what I want right after my workout. Okay, so what I'll do then, and this doesn't take more than 5 to 10 minutes maximum. Okay, and again, you can do this. So there's a lot of people who give ratios. Well, if you work out for an hour, you should spend 30 minutes stretching. I don't have those ratios, and I don't think that they're actually accurate because each person is different. It depends on how quickly you can actually access rejuvenating response, that relaxation response. So what I like to do, and I'm actually going to give you these stretches complimentary today, just go to stephencabral.com/664, and I'll give you the PDF. I've given this PDF out for 12 years. Yes, about 12 years. I gave this when I first opened one of my practices in Boston, 12 years ago. So that's how old it is. Stretching, like meditation, like yoga, like anything that's true, never gets old, never goes out of style. So it's the same stretches that I gave in my very first book, and they're going to be great for you as well. Of course, the little website on the bottom, you'll pay no attention to because unless you're in Boston, you're probably not going to be training with us at Stephen Cabral Studio. But the stretches remain the same. And what are those stretches? Well, all the stretches are meant at targeting the lower body. Now, why target the lower body? Like, that's the interesting thing. Like, why not do a lat stretch? Well, here's why. They found that when you lengthen and stretch the larger muscle groups, like the hamstrings and hip flexors and adductors and glutes, you get a greater relaxation response as long as you're breathing and calming your body into it. Why? Well, there's more nerves, there's more nerve endings, there's more innervation that happens with those muscles. So if we can relax a greater amount of muscle tissue, we get a greater relaxation response. So to put this in easier terms, from the top of your hip joint, so from the top of your iliac crest, and you can actually feel that bone if you just touch your side right below where we affectionately call our love handles, you'll feel a bone there. Now from that bone all the way down to your kneecap lies about 60% of all the muscle mass in your body. So just from your kneecap, just your upper leg, basically that the thigh, which is your quadricep, hamstring, adductors, abductors, glutes, all those good muscles right in there, with only one bone, the femur, all of those muscles right there, they constitute the majority of your metabolism. they constitute the majority of your muscle. So when we can relax that, when we can also sit on the ground, we are now kind of grounding out the body, we're relaxing the body, and we're telling the body that, okay, we're relaxing. So my first recommendation, and again, you're going to get the printout. You can actually it's an 8.5 by 11, so you can just print it out. You can save it as a PDF. It says to hold each stretch for 30 to 90 seconds, no bouncing, and always just breathe into the stretch. So, and you can see it, me 12 years in the past with those photos right there, which are kind of funny. So what we're looking at right now are soles of the feet together, okay? Seated on the ground. A lot of people call it a butterfly stretch. What we're trying to do are stretch the inner thigh muscles. You're trying to basically pull your heels in with a straight back, obviously a neutral back, as close as you can to your hips. And then you're using your elbows. This is the mistake that most people make. They don't use their elbows to push down on inner thighs. They actually just try to push down on their thighs on their own. No, use a light assistance by using your elbows and forearms to actually push down on your legs. That will help you to relax. Now, my recommendation when you're doing all of these stretches is to close your eyes. Don't focus on how far down you're getting your legs to move because it might not be very far the first time. Concentrate on feeling your body breathe into your belly, not your chest. Breathe into that belly about 5 seconds in, about 7 seconds out, a longer breath out. That's going to help you initiate the relaxation response because the breath out has to be longer than the breath in. A lot of people do not know that little secret. I did not know that little secret until I went to a tiny island off of India where I studied with Tibetan Buddhist monks who basically taught me and the other interns there, as well as patients, how to do meditation or breathing-based exercises the proper way. So a longer breath in and a shorter breath out actually excites the nervous system. Our goal with meditation is to calm the nervous system. So that's a great one. Okay, the next one is you're basically now sitting cross-legged, okay? Some people do what's called a lotus pose. I don't need anybody to get into a full lotus pose, which for most people would be a little too challenging on the knee joints. So what I need to do is just kind of cross your legs, sit cross-legged, okay? You're going to reach your arms up in the air, and then you're going to let your body weight just slowly fall forward, place your hands on the ground, and what you're going to get now is a great lower back stretch. You're going to get a QL, quadratus laborum stretch. You're going to get those top of the glute stretching, like the glute medius and minimus. You're going to get your erector spinae stretching as well, which are the lower back muscles. It's an amazing stretch, very relaxing, especially if you can get your head right down on the ground. You can place it right on a towel if you would like. Great stretch, really relaxing, rejuvenating. Now, one of my favorites is also now sit straight up. So upper body up straight with your legs stretched out in front of you. And grab one leg and you're going to pull it over your body and kind of bear hug it. Okay, bend that leg at a right angle. Pull it into the opposite chest. So pull your right leg, that right knee into your left chest or left pectoral muscles. And you're just going to hold that. This is going to namely stretch your glutes. You don't need to twist with this, okay? The twisting is not necessary. The goal is to actually get a deeper glute stretch because the glutes are the largest muscle in the body. So we want to get those glutes really stretching. We want to help open up those hip extensors, okay? So the glutes are the hip extensors. We want to open those up. Now, by doing that, we're also going to increase oxygen. And at the same time, we're going to get a little twist that's great on the organs, the internal organs within the body. If after doing this for 30 to 90 seconds, you then want to do a yoga-based rotation, fine with me. That's more for internal massage rather than glute stretch. You'll actually get less glute stretch by doing that because you can't focus namely on the glute and by holding that with two arms. Great stretch. You'll do that one on each side, okay? So this one you do the left side, and then of course you do the right side. Now the next one, you'll do what's called a kneeling lunge stretch. This is for your quadriceps, which are just the muscles in the front of the leg, and it's also for the hip flexors, namely the psoas, but you'll also get a little bit of a muscle on the side of your hip that wraps around the front called the TFL. Amazing stretch, great stretch. What this does is it's the equivalent to like a warrior pose in yoga, but you'll probably get even a little bit more out of it. This is going to allow you to get out of that maybe anterior pelvic tilt and those tight hip flexors in the front. Great stretch if you're seated all day, right? Or the majority of the day, because as we get seated, or as we're seated, we actually tighten up that psoas muscle, which can affect your lower back, the arch in your lower back, and it can affect so many different things in your body. So that's an amazing stretch. You're going to do your left side, then you're going to do your right side, and you're going to breathe in, breathe out the whole time. Eyes closed. If you need to for balance, keep them open, but eyes closed. You can also hold on to an object, meaning like you don't have to balance yourself with a stretch. There's no bonus points for balance. There is not at all. Not with stretching. Okay, so what you want to do here is you can hold on to a wall, a bench, a foam roller, whatever you'd like to keep your balance. That will work great. Now, the last one is a lying hamstring stretch. There's actually two ways to do this. You could certainly do it standing with your leg up on a bench or a windowsill. That works. But why do they put in the lying hamstring stretch? By design. Now you are fully on your back, almost like in yoga where they call it savasana. And savasana, if you do yoga, you know the other name for that is the corpse pose. And the corpse pose is most people's favorite part of class, where you get, at the very end of class, you get to lie on your back, arms out to the side, feet splayed, staying just very relaxed, focused on your breathing. I've fallen asleep on more than one occasion in savasana, and I'm not a person that very easily can take naps or turn off that sympathetic nervous system. So for me, at the end of a hatha yoga class, which I love, to get into savasana and actually fall asleep, you know that yoga class did exactly what it's supposed to do and calm that nervous system. So now our form of savasana is simply lying on your back, but you're going to wrap a towel, wrap a belt, wrap a stretching strap around one foot, and slowly pull that leg up so that you feel a little stretch through the hamstring. The hamstring basically goes from the glute all the way down to behind the kneecap. Now, if you're just going to pull one leg up at a time, the other leg is going to stay outstretched. That will allow you to lengthen your hamstrings. The hamstrings on most people are the tightest muscle in their lower leg. You can make arguments for the soleus or the gastrocnemius and the calf, or maybe the hip flexors. But from my perspective, it's functional flexibility in the hamstring, meaning that people can fake it, they can turn their body, they can twist their body and make it look like they're stretching their hamstrings. But if you do a strict, aligned hamstring stretch, I found that most people's hamstrings are just way too tight, and that's causing lower back problems. That's causing fatigue. That's causing a lot of issues within the body. So love this stretch to do. Those 5 stretches, if you think about it, each one taking a minute, and then 3 of those poses, we have a left and right side. So we're looking at 8 total minutes, essentially. Give yourself 10 minutes to stretch at the end of the workout. You do these 5 stretches. I'm telling you right now, not only will you start the healing process in your body faster, you're going to feel more refreshed, more rejuvenated, and it's going to boost your mood. It's going to get you from that hyped up, go, 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 to that, wow, I feel great. Like I feel amazing. I was working on my breathing the whole time, basically a form of meditation. And I'll tell you right now, it is phenomenal at what it can do with also reducing inflammation. So stretching helps all of those things. Why? Well, it starts the repair process faster, brings more oxygenation and more blood flow to your muscles. Whenever that happens, you can transport more nutrients. If you can transport more nutrients and more waste out, well, that's how your body heals. Like that's what we talk about. That's why massage, and that's why sauna, and that's why all these things work so great. We're talking about undulating hot and cold. We're talking about bringing blood flow to the area and waste out. Those are literally some of the best ways to heal your body. And if you wanted one bonus one to stretch your upper body, I would say a doorway stretch. And that is putting one arm up against a wall or doorway, stepping through with either leg really, and rotating away from that elbow, which is slightly above your shoulder, to stretch out your pectorals. And that's only because most people's chest muscles are tight, not from the workout, but actually from life, being kyphotic, working over a computer or keyboard, driving, all of those things. And so that will help obviously on a daily basis. Now, that brings me to my last point of you don't have to just wait until after a workout to do these stretches. One of my favorite times to do these stretches personally, one of these favorite times for me to give this advice to people is before bed. 10 minutes before bed, make your to-do list, it's done. Now, focus on no computer, no electronics, no lights, closing the eyes, working on your breathing, practicing gratitude, focus on oxygenating the muscles, do these stretches for 10 minutes. It's going to help relax the sympathetic nervous system, get you into the parasympathetic, which is exactly the state that you need to be in order to fall asleep, stay asleep, and rejuvenate while sleeping. So hopefully today's show helped. Just go to stevencabral.com/664. You're going to be able to download a completely free copy of this PDF. This is something that people typically only get as a client of Cabral Wellness in Boston or Stephen Cabral Studio in Boston. But since you are part of our podcast and online community, I want to give you a lot of that same support they get as well. Thank you everyone for tuning into another Cabral Concept. Really appreciate each and every one of your listens as well as your reviews on iTunes. Please do keep those reviews coming on iTunes. Really do appreciate read each and every one of them. Thank you so much as always. Take care. Ever wonder what the best sauna, blue blockers, sleep trackers, wake lights, salt lamps, or other health gadgets are? Or what about the top non-toxic mattresses, sheets, soaps, bath products, toothpaste, and cookware? Or would you like to know the cleanest choices for hemp parts, meal delivery services, supplements, and much more? I personally curated, researched, and now created a resource page of all of my top picks that continues to grow each week. These are the exact products I use in my own life, with my family, in my private practice, and they're the ones I trust. To find out all of my up-to-date recommendations and all the details, simply head on over to stephencabral.com/resources.